Well, happening today, the FDA's advisory committee is set to meet to discuss whether or not Pfizer's booster shot is safe for the general population. But there's also some debate over whether or not a third dose is even necessary. And joining us right now with more about that is Dr. Bruce Rankin of Excel Research Sites. Good to see you, Dr. Rankin.
Good morning, Amy. Good to see you.
So this has really ruffled some feathers. We know that a couple of folks within the FDA saying they were going to resign over this. It's sort of become really a fight between the White House and the FDA about whether or not these shots are necessary. What do we make of this?
Well, there's a lot of data that needs to be gathered before we make these kind of decisions. And, looking at our study participants that are now coming in a year, we're looking to see how well those original doses for Pfizer and Moderna are holding up. So we really need to get the data. The FDA is going to be looking at some of that data today to see if there's other groups other than the immunocompromised that may require and need the third dose of booster of that Pfizer vaccine.
And right now we're just talking about the Pfizer booster. Is that right?
Correct. The FDA, I think, today is going to be reviewing the Pfizer, but we can expect Moderna also to have data being submitted to the FDA to look for booster shots in those groups. Again, it was already approved for the immunocompromised. They may not respond into those initial vaccinations. So expect to see pretty much all the ones that have vaccines to look at a potential need for booster.
So right now, people who are immunocompromised, we know they can go ahead and get that third booster shot. But a lot of folks are very concerned about our seniors, the folks in the nursing homes, many of them who got the shot maybe January, February, or are coming up on that 8 months. How do we know if they're going to need it or not? Is the FDA doing antibody tests to see where a lot of these seniors are at?
Well, the FDA is not doing the antibody tests. Sites like ours here at Excel are doing those tests. We're bringing in people now that got vaccinated in all those age groups, and including our seniors a year ago, and we're looking at those antibody data. So that data is being uploaded almost daily to the independent review boards to see what those antibody levels look like. And again, I always mention we're also looking for surveillance in those breakthrough cases of the fully vaccinated groups, even those that were vaccinated a year ago. So that data is uploaded. Pfizer looks at it, and then the FDA reviews it to see if those booster shots are going to be needed.
So we know the CDC is not expected to review until maybe next week. The White House moving ahead with plans to roll out the boosters as early as next week. What should people know if they do want to get that third shot? Should they just sit back and be patient?
I think they should be patient. We're seeing that for severe illness and hospitalizations, those vaccines are continuing to show very good reporting good findings. So, like 96% of people are most likely not going to end up in a hospital or severe illness if you got your vaccines, even up to a year ago. So I think people need to wait. We need to see what the FDA finds when they review all these findings, and then CDC will set up guidelines of how the boosters will be distributed out to the general public.
It seems like we are finally coming down off of that Delta wave. Hospitals are starting to get back to normal. We're maybe seeing a little light at the end of the tunnel. What do you think?
I think we are getting through this Delta wave now. Unfortunately, there's still other variants of concern that are showing up, and we need to be ever vigilant to keep trying to get ahead of this pandemic. So again, people that aren't vaccinated, again, you have a higher risk. Even if you had COVID recently, you can still get the vaccine. It's that safe. Just get your immune system primed up as best you can and get those initial vaccinations out there. We still have a lot of initial vaccinations for our population that need to go out into the arms.
All right. Always good to talk to you. Dr. Bruce Rankin, thanks for being with us this morning.
Have a good day.
You too.